Hello!
And welcome
to Nightmare Nation,
a paranormal-themed podcast where we talk about haunted places around the world.
And scary things.
And demons.
And ghosts.
And witches.
And UFOs.
And cults.
Aliens.
And seances.
And Ouija boards.
Ouija board.
Ouija board.
Ouija board.
So I watched Ouija, the movie.
It's bad.
It was weird.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
The origin story of that one is actually much better.
Is it?
Yeah, it's called, like, Ouija Origin of Evil, and it's set as a prequel to that movie. And why they made a second one to begin with, I don't know, because the first one was fucking stupid.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
But the second one, which is actually a prequel, is much better. And we actually rewatched that somewhat recently, a couple weeks ago. It's pretty good.
Yeah?
And it's got the little girl from The Conjuring.
Yeah, the one that you like.
Yeah. She's been in a bunch of... No, not that one. Different girl who's also in The Conjuring movies.
Okay.
She's also been in a number of horror movies, but she's really cute. There's so many cute little kids.
Babes.
I love them.
So cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it. There was... What was the one... that I said...
The Velasca.
There's a Velasca movie.
I saw that last night when we were looking through movies to watch. And I was like, Anna said this was weird.
Really fucking weird. It's this group of like teenage paranormal investigators. The whole storyline starting off was just didn't make any fucking sense at all.
So it's not actually about the actual story of the Velasca house. It's about like what happens after.
Yeah, so they have the details of the Velasca house and everything. But it's this story of these teenagers who go into the house, and if you go into the house, you essentially get possessed by the evil spirits that are in there.
Duh.
And the ending was just the dumbest fucking thing. It was just so stupid. And I mean, maybe I would have liked it had I actually sat down and watched it, because I had it on while I was working, so I wasn't fully paying attention till the end.
It's always a gamble with horror movies to not pay fully attention to them, because then you look around and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
That's exactly how I felt at the end. I'm like, what is going on?
Well, I will watch it with you next Saturday when we hang out, if you are interested in watching it
We can rewatch it.
Okay.
And then... Because I don't know anything that happened in the middle of the movie.
Well, that's a major gap.
I just know, like, the start and the ending. So that's where I am basing my likeness.
Your review.
Of the movie.
Yes. Your critique.
Uh-huh. Good.
Yeah, well, I'll watch it with you.
Okay, cool.
Guys, if you don't know what we're talking about, we're referring to the Velasca axe murder house that we covered in episode 6 way back when we were wee babies.
Little wee babies in our podcast.
And our quality of podcasting was garbage.
Yeah, because we didn't know what we were doing back then, but now we do.
I mean, do we, though?
We do.
I feel like we're doing that fake it till you make it real hard.
Yeah,
where
it's
we're
fine.
just pretending like we know what we're doing.
But we're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
But I also feel like we don't even sound like we're faking it. We just admit that we're a hot mess. Like, we were hot garbage in the beginning, and now we're just, like, slightly less gross garbage.
I wouldn't say we're garbage.
No.
We...
Recycling. We're like that folded up cardboard box. It's not hurting anybody or smelling, but is it exciting?
Here.
I don't know. It's just there.
It's super exciting. People come back for the hot mess express that we are.
Right, the hot garbage, like I said.
Especially the episode last week.
Oh my God,
whoa,
you guys.
Baby, we cannot drink a full bottle of wine in an episode.
If you're still here after last week, God bless you.
Thank you.
That was rough.
You guys are troopers.
Yeah.
Are real listeners.
I'm
okay?
amazed we even finished that episode.
I am too.
Like, we actually got to the end.
We did.
And
eventually.
We had a craft cocktail cult recipe. We did our usual sign-off, and I'm just amazed.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ooh, that took us quite some time.
3 hours. That's a record.
I got home. Ben's like, what took you so long? It was like 3 hours. I was like, yeah, we haven't seen each other in like a week.
It had been a full week, you guys.
So we can't do a podcast after not seeing each other for a full week.
Now we know the consequences.
Yes.
We're aware of what will happen, and
yeah.
we can take the risk and accept the consequences,
yes.
or we can just not ever do that again.
But we probably will do it again.
Probably. So hang in there, guys, for another
wait for it
disaster of an episode. Yes.
Oh, God.
I'm also hoping that we like make other people feel better about themselves
Yes.
when we just are random lunatics
Nonsense.
talking about nothing. And they're like, oh, my life is so much more organized than this.
I live my life unorganized. That's just how I function.
And it works for you.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. It works for you.
Exactly.
So.
It's perfect.
Okay.
So
today, friends.
we're not going to go on too many tangents.
No, just like a few, probably. Yeah. We are fully sober right now, so it should be somewhat more organized.
10 o'clock in the morning, so we are awake.
But I'm also pretty jazzed from my latte, so...
Yeah, we got that caffeine high going on right now. Okay, there's no alcohol. I got my water bottle chilling next to me.
Look at you.
Staying hydrated, okay?
That's important.
Stay hydrated,
Life
friends.
tips.
Yes.
Hashtag hydration.
You need hydration.
Hydration station.
It's right here.
There it is. Oh,
you hear
hey.
it?
So, I loved it.
I know.
More than anything.
I know.
So, today we are going...
Where are we going?
Across the ocean.
Ooh,
we're going international.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to Ireland.
Ireland?
Well, no, sorry, Northern Ireland, which is separate from regular Ireland. If you didn't know that, yes.
Oh.
Yes, and that has to do with the Irish War of like Independence. I don't actually remember what the actual name of it is, but essentially similar to the Revolution in America, Ireland had a kind of like civil war, and where half the country wanted to stay loyal to the British Crown and the other half wanted to have their own Irish government parliament thing.
Oh.
And the country kind of split up, and I'm so sorry if I'm misrepresenting any of Ireland's history. I vaguely learned about this when I visited, so I know a little bit about it, but really not enough to sound intelligent. So I'm just going to go with there was some civil unrest because of a part of the country wanting to be independent from Britain and part of the country wanting to stay loyal to the crown, hence Northern Ireland. Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I knew there was like some heated arguments between the two.
Yes, quite.
But I didn't know that they had separate governments. And
Yeah,
I just thought that it was just Northern Ireland didn't like regular Ireland.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it like stemmed from. I don't know how the like political climate is today, but they're essentially a separate country.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
And it's funny because the movie we watched last night actually takes place in Ireland, and I actually recognized the place where they had done some of the filming.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was called Dark Touch.
Dark Touch.
Dark
yes,
Touch.
say.
And I thought it was better than I expected it to be. I was expecting it to be like an absolute freaking disaster. And it was like, okay.
Is it a scary movie?
It was a scary movie.
Okay.
And I was mainly the reason why I was irritated is because I immediately guessed the plot about 5 minutes into the movie.
Perfect.
But they kept acting like it was going to be this big reveal like later on. And I'm like, this is so fucking obvious. You guys, if you haven't figured out the plot by now, you're stupid. And all of the adults in the movie, so like the main character is this little girl, and all of the adults are just completely just freaking oblivious to all of the obvious things that are happening. And they're just like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, you guys are so dumb. Oh my God. So
no
mostly
actual adults act the same.
Yeah, it's so, and you're probably not going to watch it. So I'll just say it's about a little girl who's like, was horribly abused by her parents. Oh. And she had her baby brother, like infant brother, who was also being physically abused by their parents. Oh. And she like snaps one night, and the result of like her traumatic abuse, like, it's essentially she like manifests her trauma in the form of like psychic powers, and the house goes crazy, furniture's flying everywhere, she's screaming and crying and like causing all of this to happen, and ends up killing her parents.
Oh, damn.
Her baby brother does not survive the incident. It's really sad. But then she goes to live with like the family friends, and the family friends literally ask this girl's counselor, like, hey, was she ever abused? And the counselor's like, well, I can't tell you that. And it's like, they're going to be her fucking guardian. I feel like that would be really important to know, because then, of course, when she goes to like have bath time, she like freaks out and she refuses to like go into the bathroom and bathe. And she like, when she finally does get in the tub, she gets in with all of her clothes on because she's like really scared of like being naked in front of her new guardians or whatever. And then like when she's in the bedroom and the dad, like her new like guardian, is getting mad at her and she sees his belt, she starts freaking out and crying and like lifts her dress up to like get ready. And she has like scars all over her legs.
Oh no.
And they're like completely oblivious. Like, gee, how could you possibly have not realized this girl was abused?
Right.
Like, It was so fucking painfully obvious.
Jesus.
And all the adults in the movie were just completely like, well, we don't know why she's so upset.
The counselor didn't tell us.
We didn't know. So anyway, shit goes down. She continues to manifest more and more powers and gets real scary.
She gets real strong.
She forms like this little cult of like other abused children who like join her, and then they like form this little child like, we are gonna kill adults.
That's kind of terrifying. Yeah. I don't like that.
A little bit.
That's like my worst fear is having a psycho child who just decides that they want to kill me one day.
Yeah, well, if you don't abuse them, the chances go down, I think.
I think so.
So don't put out cigarettes on your kid's skin. You should be fine.
Don't plan on ever doing that.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So yeah, anyway, it was like really sad. It was really sad just because I like the idea of child abuse is so sad. But also I was just irritated at how oblivious all the adults were to like what was happening.
But it's a scary movie. You have to be oblivious.
I know. But like there's like an understandable level of stupid. Like this is a horror movie. You can't figure out everything right away. And just like, what is wrong with you? Like no human on planet Earth would be that dumb.
Yep.
Like, come on.
There's a commercial. I don't know if you've seen it. It plays on Hulu all the time.
Is it the one about the people making bad decisions in horror movies?
Yeah. I love that commercial. Like, let's go hide behind the chainsaws. You guys, why don't we just go into the moving car?
And she's
because
like,
that's stupid.
And it's the girl, she's like, you guys, why can't we get into the running car?
I'm like, this is such an accurate representation of horror movies.
Well, and then depending on which version you see, because there's like a longer version too, where sometimes they're like, guys, we should split up.
Oh, yeah, yep.
They're like, let's go hide in the attic. So
it's
funny.
So perfect.
Oh, it's so great. It's like, if you're in a horror movie, you're going to make bad decisions. But isn't it like a Geico commercial?
I think so.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. So
it's great.
Okay, so anyway, that movie was set in Ireland. That's why I got off on that tangent.
Yes.
So we're going to Northern Ireland. To the Crumlin Road Gaol.
Crumlin. Just makes me think a little like scone crumbs.
It makes me... Because it kind of sounds like crumbling, too.
Yeah.
Like Crumlin.
Or like little gremlins.
Okay, so when you
around?
said stone crumbs, I thought immediately of gremlins that like crumbs. Little crumlins. Running around. Little like imp guys running around picking up crumbs and being like...
I love that so much.
That's where my mind went. I was like, Crumlin, that's so cute.
Little babies.
Yeah. So this is in Northern Ireland, like I said, and my sources are Wikipedia and culturenorthernireland.org.
Ooh, thanks, Wiki.
Thanks, Wiki.
You're so nice.
Also, I'm Annie.
Hey, I'm Anna.
We're getting so much better at this.
Hey, did we even announce ourselves last time?
Yeah, I think so.
Like 2 hours into the episode?
I mean, we literally didn't even get to our content until like 35 minutes in. So
was it 35? I thought it was like an hour.
Okay, so we started to talk about the content about 30 minutes, and then we got off on another 25 minutes of tangents and finally circled back about an hour in. So
okay,
maybe that's what I was thinking of, but I'm pretty sure we introduced ourselves.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't remember like any of that episode.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of shit.
I just had to cut so much crap and like going back and listening and trying to edit, I'm like, okay, so where's a point where it makes sense to cut off and start deleting stuff? But then eventually I have to like get to a point where I'm like, okay, so if I cut it from here to here, these two segments on either end will make sense if I like string them together, right? Because like we'll go off on a tangent for like 20 minutes, but then eventually like when we stop going on the tangent, it has to make sense with the spot where I originally started cutting stuff. So I'm like, how do I make this work? Because we don't make any fucking sense at all. So yeah, it was a fun challenge to listen to.
Oh, good.
Okay, so apparently another name for the Crumlin Road Gaol is HMP Belfast. That stands for something that I forgot to write down. I don't know. It's like something municipal prison, something or other. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to just call it the Crumlin Road Gaol because that makes me think of Crumbs Gremlins.
Yes. Sounds perfect.
So it's a former prison situated on the Crumlin Road in North Belfast in Northern Ireland. As of 1996, it is the only remaining Victorian-era prison in Northern Ireland, and it is generally referred to as the Crumb.
Oh, that's so fun.
Gonna go do some time in the Crumb.
Little gremlins running around picking up crumbs in the jail.
Cute.
That sounds perfect.
My question is, why does this jail have so many crumbs? Do you just eat dry, crusty bread all day?
I guess so. I mean, you're in a jail. They don't really...
Yeah.
They don't care.
I guess. Just lots of baked goods.
Yes.
Very stale, crummy baked goods.
Delicious.
Great.
My kind of baked goods.
So during its 150-year history, the jail had many prisoners pass through its doors, with estimates of up to 25,000 people total imprisoned there during its time. Some of the more well-known prisoners include Iamon de Valera, Martin McGuinness, Michael Stone, and Bobby Sands.
Bobby Sands.
Who are these people, you ask?
Who are they?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't bother to look them up.
Okay.
I'm sure if you live in Ireland, you probably know who these people are, but I do not.
If you want to know who they are,
Google them.
Google.
That's what I'm not Google, okay? Like, I'm not a freaking encyclopedia.
Seriously.
Designed by Sir Charles Lanyon, the prison was built between 1843 and 1845 and cost 60,000. I think this was before euros existed. They currently use euros today as their currency. I don't know what that symbol stands for.
That's a euro.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it a euro? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I didn't look it up.
That's a euro.
Okay.
Yep.
60,000 euros. Wasn't positive. So it was built as a replacement for the county jail in Carrickfergus.
Carrickfergus.
Which is the coolest effing town name of all time. Huh. Carrickfergus.
Carrickfergus.
And it was constructed of black basalt rock on a 10-acre plot at the bottom of the Crumlin Road. So it was partly based on another prison called Pentonville, HMP Pentonville, and it was one of the most advanced prisons of its day.
Oh.
Built within a 5-sided wall, which I'm having sort of a hard time understanding how that would work. I don't know. So it's like a pentagon shape?
Yeah.
Like 5-sided?
Yeah, because when you look at pictures of the actual jail they have, when you go in, they have like one main area, and then they have hallways jutting out from there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I didn't see a ton of pictures. I only looked at a few, but that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, so it basically had this like 5-walled like center area, and then like you said, 4 wings, which are up to 4 stories in height and fan off from the central area, which was known as the Circle. Of the 4 wings, the A wing was the longest, with 21 cells on either side of 3 landings. So some other additions were made in the late 1800s and included a prison hospital and laundry block, both located near the A-wing. So what I thought was kind of interesting is the prison was considered like a working prison. So essentially it's kind of similar to like Eastern State Pen, where it was truly meant to be like a penitentiary where you kind of like work to pay off your debt to society and like truly repent your sins, not just like a prison where you just sit and do time.
Yep.
So they would essentially like do that as part of their punishment, and the laundry facility was a place where like prisoners would work for the local community too. Mm-hmm. So they would do their laundry, and then they would also do laundry for other people, for the guards for sure. I know they did it for like the other staff and stuff. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And they had other facilities, which included a tailor shop and a boot and shoe shop, where prisoners would make uniforms and footwear for both other inmates as well as community members.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it gave them something to do, because we all know just sitting on your ass and doing nothing all day will make you go crazy.
Yeah.
And then they were able to kind of like contribute to the local society.
That's
community.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. So the prison was originally built to hold between 500 and 550 prisoners in cells that measured 12 by 7 feet. So that's pretty small.
Yeah, that seems real small.
Really small.
Like the size of this closet?
Well, it'd be a little bit longer.
Okay.
And a little bit wider. But yeah, it's not large.
Ooh,
so picture one person living in that cell. Now picture 3. Because guess what?
Fuck that. They had too many people?
Overcrowding.
Oh, weird.
Oh, that's
like,
never happened
to all of them.
No, never. I've never heard of overcrowding.
Never, ever.
Never.
Huh.
So in the 1970s, overcrowding became a serious issue, and as many as 3 prisoners were placed in each cell.
Jesus.
Which is only going to contribute to more just like inmate fighting and violence. Like, that's not a livable situation.
No.
And I always think, this is really disgusting, but I always think about too, like, you don't get your own separate bathroom. You do your business in your cell. And, like, what if someone's just, like, taking a dump, like, 2 inches from your face?
It's
like,
disgusting.
That's disgusting.
And
that's not a way to live.
And watch it and hear it.
And
smell
I don't want to hear, smell, or watch it.
No.
I don't.
None of the above.
None of the 5 senses should be involved with someone else pooping.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Yep.
So, yeah, overcrowding became an issue. Thankfully, it wasn't open too much longer after they got to the 3 prisoners per cell situation. But yeah, it was not good. So, it was the first prison in Ireland to be built according to the, quote, separate system, intended to separate prisoners from each other with no communication between them, which, again, is similar to Eastern State Pen, where they had them just completely separated and silent and, like, not communicating with any other people in the prison, which I guess is fine, but I feel like, again, will be just like taking a long-term like toll on your mental health to not be able to talk to anyone.
You need to have human interaction.
Yeah, so not great, but yeah, so separate system, similar to Eastern State Pen. So the first 106 inmates who were forced to walk from Carrickfergus prison in chains arrived in 1846. These inmates, comprised of men, women, and children, completed the changeover of the 2 prisons. So, yes, they had children in the jail for a while. And there's some very sad stories that go along with that. So, children from impoverished working-class families were often imprisoned there in the early years for offenses such as stealing food or clothing. And these children imprisonments led to a lot of just, like, mistreatment and abuse. And,
I'm sure.
There was one particular that I'll get to in a second that's just really sad. So sentences for these kinds of offenses usually started at a week, but went up to 3 months and often included whippings as punishment.
God, why? They're little kids. They're hungry.
I know. They're hungry. Like, you steal a freaking loaf of bread and get whipped. Like, how sad.
It's a little aggressive, people.
It makes me think of Les Mis, where he, like, steals bread because he's starving and then gets put in jail for, like, 40 years.
It's
Something ridiculous. So the saddest and most like famous thing that came out of this was 10-year-old Patrick McGee, who had been sentenced to 3 months in prison for stealing clothing, hanged himself in his cell in 1858.
Oh, no.
So thankfully that same year, a law was introduced that banned imprisoning children under 14 in adult prisons.
Well, you should have fucking had that law in
to
place.
start, I know.
Yeah.
So, and the other bummer is that they just said they can't be imprisoned in adult prisons. I don't know if they then had a special facility for children, like juvie.
I think I remember reading something where if they had to be placed in something like juvie, where it was more of like a rehabilitation type of area where they had schooling and stuff, but they weren't in the adult prison.
Yeah, that makes more sense, but still, like, don't imprison 10-year-olds.
Right.
Like, I mean, unless they're violent or something, or, like, going to hurt somebody, but, like, to
steal bread, just do a little slap on the wrist, don't do it again. If you do it again, then there'll be more consequences.
Yeah, well, so that 3-month one was like typically on the second or third offense, so it started with only a week, but still, like 3 months is a long time to be in an adult prison when you're freaking 10. Yeah. One other article said he was 13, but then I found one that said he was 10, so I don't actually know. I went with 10.
There you go.
Yeah. So women inmates were kept in the prison blockhouse in the D wing until the early 1900s, and which is kind of what is kind of fun is some historically famous female suffragists in Ireland were imprisoned there during 1914. So these names probably mean more to people who know about the history of getting the right to vote in Ireland. But Dorothy Evans and Madge Muir, Madge Muir were imprisoned there. They're apparently famous for being female suffragists and fighting for the right to vote for women.
You go,
ladies.
Thanks for fighting for us.
So, with a lot of prisons come executions.
Of course there is.
Let's talk about some heads rolling.
Oh, here we go.
So when originally designed, the prison did not contain a gallows, and the executions were carried out in public view until 1901, when an execution chamber was constructed within the prison walls and used until the last of the hangings in 1961. So they
hanged people until 1961?
Yes, ma'am. That's not that long ago.
Other options? Especially in the 50s and 60s?
Well, I know in some prisons, like, that was a weird time in Ireland because of all of the issues with, like...
I suppose they were in Ireland.
Yeah. So I know that there was, like, firing squad executions that happened.
Jesus.
So, like, this was for, like, political prisoners who were considered to be, like, rebels against the, like, idea of British...
Okay.
Yeah, so there was some sort of, like, internal... There's a whole period in Irish history, I think, called, like... the struggle or something. I forget what it's called, but there was essentially a lot of civil unrest and like political activism, and people were made political prisoners and then executed frequently if they didn't agree with the government views or whatever. So it's kind of messed up. I don't remember all the details, but so hangings until 1961. So the condemned inmates would live in a cell at the jail large enough for the prisoner, as well as 2 guards that would live with them until they were executed. The bodies of the executed were buried inside of the prison in unconsecrated ground against the back wall of the prison hospital. So that's probably a source for some ghosts.
Yeah.
Because it's unconsecrated.
And they said, too, that they did that so that their souls couldn't be laid to rest, and they would essentially be
trapped. They did that on purpose?
Yeah.
What a bunch of dicks.
To be trapped there for their...
assholes.
Whatever. Yeah.
You're going to purposely not consecrate the ground to trap their spirits forever in the afterlife. Wow, you dicks. Okay, well, that makes sense why this place is haunted then.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Yeah, it is.
Goes around, comes around.
Karma's a bitch.
So all in all, 17 prisoners were executed in the prison, the last being Robert McGladdery, who was hanged in 1961 for the murder of Pearl Gamble, a 19-year-old woman whom he strangled and stabbed to death that same year.
Jesus.
Yep.
Okay, well.
Freaking Robert Dickbag. The execution of Tom Williams was another notable one. So he was a 19-year-old member of the IRA, or the Irish Republican Army, who fought to be independent of British rule. So again, like a prisoner. Oh, that's a new word.
It's like plisners.
Welcome, plisners. Political prisoner. And his execution took place on September 2nd, 1942. So he was hanged for killing a RUC, which is essentially like a police officer. And the hangman in charge was Thomas Pierrepoint, the jail's most regular hangman, who carried out 6 executions in the jail between 1928 and 1942. So he's got some blood on his hands. So Williams was one of 2 executed prisoners whose remains were actually disinterred and buried elsewhere. So he's probably not trapped in the jail forever as a spirit.
Okay.
You go, Tom.
You go.
So, despite being known as Europe's Alcatraz, there were a number of successful escape attempts at the jail.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, and the first one was recorded in 1866, which was not that long after it was first built. So they kind of got out right away. But the most famous one occurred in November of 1971 when 9 Republican prisoners, known as the Crumlin Kangaroos...
Oh! Why kangaroos?
I don't know. Maybe they hopped over the walls or something.
That's awesome.
But I want to be a Crumlin kangaroo.
I love that so much.
We can name one of our star clusters the Crumlin
kangaroos.
Kangaroos.
Who wants to be part of the Crumlin Kangaroos?
Me! I do. So they successfully escaped, and less than a month later, they were followed by another 3 Republican prisoners who also made it out. So you guys get your shit together.
Everyone's escaping.
Oh, the Troubles. That's what it was called. That period in Irish history where there was all this like civil unrest. It was called the Troubles.
The Troubles?
The Troubles.
Like the Troublemakers?
The Troublemakers. Yes, exactly like Pitch Perfect.
Perfect.
So,
how did they know?
I know, right? No one knows this, but Pitch Perfect is actually deeply rooted in Irish civil history.
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
Fun fact.
In case you didn't know.
It is a fact, so don't even bother to look it up.
Yeah.
So
don't Google it.
Don't even Google it. On November 24th, 1991, during the last stages of the Troubles, the Loyalist wing of the prison became the target of a provisional Irish Republican Army bomb that killed 2 prisoners. So,
was it an actual bomb?
Yes.
Okay.
Like an explosion,
Okay.
people died.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
There was major, Republican loyalist tension issues, attacks happening.
Good.
Fun stuff. So finally, the jail closed its doors as a prison in 1996, and it was empty for many years. A restoration project was announced in August of 2010, and in 2012, the prison opened as a tourist attraction and conference center, and it now hosts concerts. Which would be so effing cool. I want to go to a jail concert.
Is it outside?
I have no idea.
That's pretty neat.
I bet the acoustics in that central chamber are probably pretty good.
Oh, I'm sure. That'd be awesome.
Effing cool.
Oh, shit.
Want to go to a concert in Ireland?
Yeah, I do.
Great.
Sweet.
The museum there even welcomed a visit by Queen Elizabeth II in 2014.
Oh, you go, Queen Elizabeth.
You go.
Gosh.
So that's the Crumlin Road Jail history.
Woo!
Let's hear about some ghosty goos.
For such a rough history.
It is rough, isn't it? It's just rough.
I couldn't find any real specific haunting stories, which was weird. So you're just going to get the generics.
But the generics are still fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's still
of
creepy.
What people have experienced. So my sources are anomalyinfo.com and spookyisles.com.
Ooh, spooky isles.
Uh-huh. So ghost hunters and visitors to the former prison have reported several sightings and hearing strange sounds.
Go figure.
Weird. Just like everything
Didn't
else.
expect that.
No.
How unexpected.
Doors can be heard slamming shut by themselves, as well as male and female voices can be heard clearly calling out for help.
Ooh, that's creepy.
Mm-hmm. And especially being in a prison like this, like, sound carries.
It does.
Very easily.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that, like, people hear female voices, too, which goes probably back to, like, when women were in prison there. That's I feel like that's atypical for the, like, other prisons and penitentiaries that we've covered where they didn't have women. Men. Yeah. So that's creepy.
Yeah. So C Wing was the famous condemned man's cell, like Annie had talked about. So this is where the cell for the condemned
people waiting to be executed. Okay.
Yes. Yep. So their cell was in there. So in this cell, the people have seen a man who walks down the C Wing and then disappears.
Oh.
And I would think that maybe they're going to their death because the prisoners who were getting hanged, there was a specific room, but you couldn't see it. The door to get into the gallows, it was behind a moving bookshelf in the hallway.
What? Is this some Clue shit?
Uh-huh.
Oh my god!
So then it led into a back room where then the gallows were standing, and they're still standing today.
Cool.
And then,
so does he, like, disappear when he gets to the point where that, like, secret doorway was?
that I'm not sure. It just says that's my interpretation.
That makes the most sense.
They just see a man who walks down that wing and then disappears.
I want a secret bookshelf corridor in my house.
That'd be so cool.
That'd be so cool.
See, I want something like the Winchester house, where you have all sorts of little doorways that lead nowhere.
Stairways to nowhere. You want a sprawling, like, freaking 6-story, 9,000 room mansion?
Yes.
Cool.
Exactly.
Hey, if you haven't seen the movie Knives Out, it's pretty good, and it's got very much Clue vibes because it's kind of like a whodunit murder mystery thing, and it takes place in this very cool, like, Victorian-looking mansion that looks like the mansion from Clue.
Oh, that's cool.
It's interesting because every single member of the family had motive to have killed this person, but we actually, as the viewer, find out who did it from the beginning. And you're, like, rooting for the person because, like, she's a good person and it was, like, an accident. And so, like, you're basically watching the investigation unfold, but, like, from her perspective, trying to, like, keep it all hidden and, like, covered up and stuff.
Oh, that's neat.
It's pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was
cool.
Good.
It's a different way for a investigation.
Yeah, it was, like, a different angle, which I thought was refreshing. And the house is just so cool. Like, I just loved the set of that movie. I was like, I want that freaking mansion Victorian era thing. It's really cool.
Give it to me.
Give it.
Okay.
Secret bookshelf corridor.
Secret bookshelf corridor. One of the most haunted regions of the prison is the tunnel that runs under the main road and connects the prison to the courthouse. So this is how they would transport all of their prisoners to, obviously, the courthouse for their sentencing.
Yeah.
And it is reported that there is a gray figure that commonly walks about the tunnel. Just a random gray guy. Just hanging out.
Gray guy in the tunnel.
Yeah. He's just walking to his court case.
Yeah.
So,
do you think he's friends with the little boy that disappeared underground playing his bagpipe?
Probably.
Yeah.
They're probably best friends.
Yeah. That's actually where the boy disappeared to. He found a secret tunnel connecting to the Crumlin Road
And then
jail.
he just lived out his days in the jail.
Yes. He was one of the children.
Yeah.
Yes. And he played his bagpipes for everyone and lived happily ever after.
Yes. I'm glad we figured out that story.
I'm so happy now. I can sleep tonight, finally.
Yes. So there have also been reports that have been caught on recorder of a man groaning, sighing, coughing, and whistling.
That's quite the collection of sounds.
The typical sounds you hear.
Whistling, though, that's different.
That's fun.
Groaning, sure. Whistling? Disturbing.
It's not normal.
No.
I don't think, for them to hear that.
No, not usually. And it's sort of creepy when, like, things that are supposed to be cheerful happen, but you know it's, like, in a haunted prison. Like, I don't want to hear people, like, whistling happily.
No.
in the prison. There's
it's
something
creepy.
wrong about that.
So they caught these when no one else was with them.
Of course.
So then in the B wing, there is a padded cell, which is known as the most terrifying cell in the whole building. People have reported it being touched or pushed while inside People have reported being touched or pushed while inside the cell, having an overwhelming feeling of unease and feeling the presence of a dark figure lurking in the corners and seeing dark figures floating from cell to cell.
It's a lot of shit in one room.
I know.
Gross.
But this is where the insane were held.
Really? Oh, I didn't find any like history on that piece, like the mentally ill.
Yep.
Oh.
So they were just stuck in the padded room, just hanging out.
Oh, so like literally all the walls
It was literally
being
padded.
Like when you picture someone with like a straight jacket and
Yes.
like the cushions on the walls.
Yes.
Okay.
I saw one picture where it's just a white cell.
That's crazy.
Just hanging out in there. Kind of, I think they made it to be like an isolation cell if you were to do something wrong within the prison.
Interesting.
So that's literally all I was able to find. I had to go down the deep, dark depths of Google.
The deep dark.
And I was on like page 5 and 6 of Google.
Oh, God. And there was no more detail.
And then there was like nothing else. And I was like,
Bummer.
Oh, okay, well.
I feel like that's the risk of doing some of these like international places sometimes. It's as harder for us as like people who don't live there to find information on it.
Right.
But then we had so much for the ancient Ram Inn, so I thought like maybe this would be the same.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess not.
But what's funny is that not many of the ghost stories popped up until around 2007 when they started implementing the tours and like ghost tours. So it's like, I don't know if, obviously when it was the prison, people weren't in there really investigating. So now that it's open, we're finally getting
that would be my
stories.
Guess. Because I feel like if you're there as a prisoner and you tell your prison guard like, I heard a ghost in my room, they're gonna be like, okay, shut the fuck up. Like, no one cares, right? Like, it's not like they're documenting these cases because it was an active prison until 1996.
Exactly.
And then it was abandoned up until like 2010.
Yep.
So, or not abandoned, but like it wasn't even like open for anything.
Right.
And so it would make sense to me that they're not getting stories until it finally got opened up for visitors, because while there were prisoners, I don't know, you think maybe like the guards of the prison would have stories that they reported, but you know, I don't know how they do things over in Ireland.
Exactly.
So I could see it going either way, like being legit or just being a spooky ghost tour.
So,
but being reported being pushed, though, that's pretty hard to like fake getting pushed by an unseen force.
Yes. That
unless you're just making it up.
Could
but
be.
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's go and see for ourselves.
Let's go to the squishy room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be put in straitjackets.
Great.
And we can go bounce off the swishy walls.
Ah, yes.
Sounds
just like
awesome.
Pinball around in the room. It's a jumpy castle.
This is so much fun. That sounds awesome.
I bet that's what people actually did in that room.
Probably.
Just pinball around.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna make me go crazy.
Nope. I'm gonna take this lemon and turn it into lemonade.
Yeah. So friends, our next segment.
The best segment.
The best segment.
Of all time.
Craft Cocktail Cult segment.
Look at you.
I'm getting there, you guys.
Practice makes
Finally.
perfect.
Oh my goodness.
That's great.
So I did the Google, and we're going to give you a vodka recipe today.
And this one's fun because it's got cranberry stuff in it, and Thanksgiving's coming up, and I know Thanksgiving is going to look a little different this year, so why not drown your sorrows with a cranberry vodka alcoholic beverage?
Yes. It's going to be perfect, and I'm so excited to try this. Haven't tried it yet, but we will.
Yeah.
It is a cranberry mule.
Yum.
I love cranberry juice. I love vodka.
I love mules.
And mules are perfect.
I love them donkeys. They're so cute.
So let's combine them all together for a delicious drink.
Yes.
Okay? So you're going to, in your shaker glass, you're going to put 2 ounces of cranberry juice, 2 ounces of your favorite vodka. Please don't use Kharkov or
5 o'clock.
Shit.
Or shit. Please don't use actual shit.
Please
but
don't
use shitty vodka either.
I mean, if that's what you prefer, to each their own.
You know, if that's what's within your budget, you do you.
Yes.
You do you.
I can't promise how tasty it will be.
But you know what you're getting yourself into.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, 2 ounces of your favorite vodka, 1/4 cup of lime juice.
That's a lot of lime juice.
I don't know that I like that.
It's essentially why don't they just say 2 ounces? A cup is 8 ounces. Why would they do 2 ounces cranberry juice, 2 ounces vodka, and then quarter cup of lime juice? Just so 2 ounces.
2 ounces of lime juice. That seems a little bit more reasonable than a quarter of a cup.
Consistent with the rest of the recipe,
right.
Then. Like, what? A quarter of a cup is just 2 ounces. Just say freaking 2 ounces. I don't understand that.
They want to be fancy.
Oh, okay.
So you'll put your cranberry juice, vodka, and lime juice in your shaker cup. Shake it for 15 seconds. You're going to take a mule glass, if you have one, which is typically just like a copper mug glass.
Target's got great ones.
They do.
They're cute.
They're so cute. Or you can just use like a low ball glass. That works too. Fill it with ice. And then you're going to put in 3 ounces of your favorite ginger beer, which you can find at your local grocery store.
Or liquor store.
They're
delicious.
Yes. It's quite tasty. So then you'll pour that in, stir up, and then you can garnish with a handful of fresh or frozen cranberries and then a little lime wedge.
Oh my god, and then your little frozen cranberries are keeping your drink cold too. Oh my god, I love that. That's adorable.
So that is your cranberry mule,
delicious.
Friends. It sounds so delicious, and I'm so excited to try it.
We'll have to make one for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Yum.
So good.
Like I said, we have lots of vodka now. So
there you go. Yeah. You're set.
We're set. So
that's perfect.
Great recipe.
Yeah.
Delicious.
And if you have your own recipes for beverages, you let us know. Or if there's a beverage you would like us to try,
if you want to hear us get bombed and then record on your favorite beverage, please let us know.
Let us know, because that would be quite entertaining.
Yes. If we weren't already entertaining enough, adding your favorite beverage of choice to our recordings is just makes it that much more fun. Yes.
Yes.
And also
you go, girl.
Also, if you have a place that you'd like to hear us talk about on the podcast, make sure you tell us, because we want to talk about things that we know you're interested in.
Yeah, so we do.
If you know of a haunted place in your hometown or somewhere that you would like to hear discussed by our ridiculous voices, please tell us and send an email to nightmarenation19@gmail.com.
And send in your personal stories as well to that same email, because we want to know about your experiences.
Have you encountered a demon? Has someone in your family lived in a haunted house?
Have you tried an Ouija board and had a bad experience afterwards?
Did you grow up in a cult? The questions are endless.
They are. And we want to know about
We want the
all
answers.
Of this.
Yes.
So let us know, please.
Send them in.
And you can find us on the Instagram, nightmare.nation19, or the Facebook, at nightmare_nation19.
Please follow us, like us, comment on our stuff. We like interacting with our fans.
Yeah,
we do.
And
we would love any ratings or reviews that you want to leave us.
Heck yeah.
Let us know how we're doing.
Let us know.
Help us out.
In the meantime, don't use Ouija boards.
Please don't use a Ouija board.
And be safe, okay?
Be safe. Don't get COVID. Don't do seances. Don't invite demons into your life. Be a smart person.
And be kind to everybody.
Be nice.
Love each other.
Yep. But not ghosts. You can love ghosts, not demons.
Happy ghosts. Not the mean ones.
Right.
So.
All right, until next time.
Till next time, friends.
Bye.
Okay, bye.